Some men fall in love with how you make them feel, not with you. And when you're over 40, that difference isn't just disappointing, it's devastating. Because by now, you've lived, you've evolved, you've buried parts of yourself and resurrected others. So when a younger man enters your life, captivated by your calm, your wisdom, your quiet magnetism, it feels like being truly seen again. Not just wanted, but recognized. He says the right things, he listens, he shows up with charm, and for a moment you allow yourself to believe, maybe this is different. But deep inside, your intuition is whispering, something isn't adding up, something feels one-sided. That whisper? It isn't fear, it's self-respect waking up. You see, many younger men are drawn to the energy of a grounded woman, not for who she is, but for how she feels to be around. Calm, reassuring, safe. In Jungian psychology, she mirrors his anima, his inner feminine. He's not relating to her as a whole woman. He's relating to the part of himself he hasn't integrated, and that can feel intoxicating for both. But when a man is only seeking comfort from your energy, he's not loving you, he's borrowing you. You'll start to notice he opens up when it suits him, but disappears when you need holding. He clings to your strength, but offers little of his own. He's present when you're pouring into him, but absent when you pull back. This isn't love. It's energetic extraction. Real love shows up when it's your turn to be supported. And the man who's not using you, he doesn't just admire your power, he respects your humanity. He doesn't hide behind your clarity, he meets it with his own. When he looks at you, you don't feel younger, you feel honored. Let that be your standard.
Some men crave the woman who brings them peace, but vanish the moment she asks to be seen. This is the unspoken grief so many women over 40 carry. Not because they can't attract love, but because they attract men who mistake their power for perfection, their nurturing for healing, and their presence for permanence. You've done the inner work. You've faced your shadows. You've learned how to hold yourself through heartbreak and still remain soft. And that softness, it draws him in, deeply. But what he's drawn to may not be you. It may be how regulated he feels in your presence. He confuses your emotional steadiness for safety. But what happens when you stop playing safe? In Jungian terms, he's still projecting, placing his unmet feminine within you, making you the stand-in for the calm he can't yet find inside himself. You become his mirror, and mirrors aren't loved, they're leaned on, until the image no longer serves. At first, it feels magical. He tells you he's never felt this way before, that you get him, that he feels more alive around you. But slowly, the balance shifts. You give, he takes. You hold space, he unloads. You offer warmth, he offers presence when it's convenient. This isn't love. It's self-soothing in disguise. You'll notice the signs. He disappears when things get real. He praises your strength but flinches when you show pain. He calls you intimidating when you speak your truth. A man who is not using you, he doesn't just want your light. He respects your shadows. He welcomes your depth. He doesn't panic when you stop being the strong one. He doesn't retreat when you show the full range of your womanhood. So ask yourself honestly, when you're with him, are you expanding or managing? Because love shouldn't feel like emotional babysitting. You are not his sanctuary. You are not his stepping stone. You are a whole woman, and he either meets you as such or not at all.
Strong women attract the wounded, not because they want to, but because they radiate what the wounded crave: stability, softness, and safety. By the time you're over 40, Your strength isn't just admired, it's assumed. You've held careers, raised children, buried versions of yourself, and loved people who never truly saw you. You've survived so much that emotional resilience becomes your default. And that resilience, it makes you irresistible to men who are still building themselves. They see your calm as a cure, your grace as grounding, your presence as a place to rest. But resting isn't the same as reciprocating. Here's the truth no one says out loud. Some men are not with you. They're inside your energy. They don't show up for you. They show up for how they feel around you. And you feel it in the little things. After spending time together, you feel emotionally drained instead of nourished. You're leaving conversations more aware of his struggles than your own needs. You're praised for how much you give, but rarely offered space to receive. This dynamic is subtle, and it's dangerous because it doesn't feel toxic at first. It feels intimate, deep, even healing. But healing for him is not the same as being held by him. Jung called this anima possession. He's subconsciously trying to access his own feminine energy through you. So he latches onto your softness, your grounded knowing, your depth. But he hasn't earned it. He hasn't matched it. And that imbalance creates an emotional bleed. You become the safe place he returns to, but never rises to meet. A true partner doesn't need you to be his therapist, his mother, or his emotional guide. He shows up with you, not under you. So ask yourself, do I feel cherished or emotionally responsible for someone who's still growing up? Because your strength is not a shelter, it's a standard. You don't owe your sacred energy to anyone who only wants to bask in it.
Real love brings clarity, not confusion, not guessing games, not waiting around for someone to finally grow into what they promised to be. And yet, when a younger man is deeply drawn to you, it can feel like a thrilling contradiction. His passion lights you up, but his inconsistency slowly erodes your peace. At first, it's flattering. He says he's inspired by your wisdom, grounded by your calm. But soon you realize he's not building with you, he's leaning on you, emotionally, energetically, without offering anything back. This isn't partnership, it's dependence disguised as love. And the woman who has carried her own weight for decades, she knows the difference. In her body, your nervous system tells you what your mind tries to ignore. When he texts, do you light up or brace yourself? After being with him, do you feel filled or quietly depleted? Do you sleep better or worse? The feminine doesn't lie. It whispers, it aches, it contracts when something feels unsafe, even when everything looks fine on the surface. You'll notice, he says he adores your strength, but he disappears when you express emotion. He loves your independence, but feels threatened when you ask for clarity. He's devoted in the moment, but absent when you need consistency. This is emotional convenience, not emotional commitment. And it's not your job to coach him through becoming the man he might be someday. You are not here to shape someone's potential. You are here to be loved in your fullness, today, as you are. A man who's truly devoted to you doesn't just show up when it's easy. He stays when it's hard. He listens when it's uncomfortable. He regulates with you, not just through you. That's how you'll know. Not by how much he wants you, but by how steady he stays when you stop making it easy. So don't override your body's wisdom just to preserve a fantasy, because the version of you that's over 40, she's not here to be consumed. She's here to be met.
There comes a point, especially after 40, when you stop asking, "Does he love me?" and start asking, "Is this feeding my soul or draining it?" That shift is liberation, because at this stage in your life, love must be nourishing, steady, rooted in reality, not a performance you maintain, a project you manage, not a man who only shows up when he's lost. If you found yourself constantly overthinking, shrinking your needs, or second-guessing what once felt clear, it's not because you're broken. It's because your body is begging you to stop carrying him. Some younger men are sincere in their affection, but sincerity doesn't equal readiness. They may crave your groundedness, they may praise your sensuality, but what they really want is a feeling, a sensation, a shelter. And when you stop being that shelter, they vanish. Not because you failed, but because they were never standing beside you in the first place. They were resting in your energy, not rising in their own. The man who's not using you won't just be there for the good days. He'll bring presence to your hard ones. He won't need you to stay small so he can feel big. He'll honor your fullness and still show up. Real love doesn't ask you to prove yourself. It meets you where you already stand. That's how you know. Not by his desire, but by his devotion. Not by chemistry, but by consistency. Not by words, but the quiet peace your body feels when he walks in the room. So if you're over 40 and wondering if he's using you, pause. You don't need another apology. You don't need more hope. You don't need to carry anyone else's healing. What you need is your own truth, your own breath, your own presence. You've already outgrown being someone's emotional retreat. Now it's time to be your own sanctuary. And from that place, you stop asking, "Does he love me?" Because you already remember, you love yourself enough to walk away from anything less. This is not the end of love. It's the beginning of real alignment. You are not here to be adored in pieces. You are here to be held in your wholeness.
Thank you for being here. Not just for watching, but for feeling, for listening, for letting this message stir something inside you. If this spoke to you, if it touched a truth you've been carrying quietly inside, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. You never know who might need to read your words. And if this message helped you feel a little more aligned, a little more grounded, a little more seen, please like this video and consider subscribing. We create these moments to remind you you're not alone, you're not behind, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Until next time, stay present, stay true, and remember,
Sometimes the softest shifts create the biggest change.